Oh dear. Um,
There's a selfie that you did, right? And here's a othery that you did on mine.
okay.
You,
Mine isn't recording right side up, is it?
yours
Okay.
is upside down.
Okay, let me change it here. Different image.
Look at that Rembrandt-esque forest you got going on there.
Yeah, it took a little bit. Let's see. Now I'm getting myself to a blank page. There we go.
Do you see what's on my screen?
Yeah, it's something you should have thrown in the garbage a long time ago. There's an insult to your bellezza.
To my beauty.
Your bella spetto.
Okay. Well, this is a drawing that Patrick did of me a year and a half ago, I guess, or whenever it was, and there it was. And I thought, well, I'll show it instead of my face. You'll see a rendition of it. So there we go. Now, so back we're talking with Patrick and Pierre Gustafson at this end. And Patrick, I see your blank page, but I also see two bricks that I don't need to see.
Oh,
so you can.
I'm on the veranda, the porch.
Well, I know, but you can move the sketchbook up so one of the bricks is covered, at least. I'm seeing a lot of stuff above the top of the page. Keep going. Okay, now the top and bottom are both seen on the left side. Not the right side, but the left.
Oh, okay. It's
so,
like,
I mean, you can draw on the left. I don't care.
So you're gonna have to describe to me what you're seeing, because
okay, well, put your hand in the middle of the book. Okay, I see your thumb is on the left side, and your middle finger is. If you move the book, you want to draw on the right side or the left side?
I'll just draw on the left side for now.
Okay, then move the book up about a finger's length.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then move it, keep having it go up from there. Perfect. Now you can stop. You know, Patrick, how you can live with talons like yours, I do not know. But you have talons, and I always think they're going to get caught in the revolving door or something when I see people that have really long hair or long fingernails. So Patrick and I both have pencils in our hand. What's that? Matita? Is that in Italian? Is that
matita? Yes.
Okay. See, I remembered that word. Anyway, and someone earlier today had sent me an image of a little Japanese woodblock print or something, and I didn't quite understand what it was. It looked like a little raccoon that was floating on this huge brown cloud, and I didn't know what it was. And he explained to me what it was, and I thought, I know who needs to know this. And Patrick knows all about this already. So we will each draw one of these creatures. They're ostensibly a sort of raccoon-like creature. We'll save the good part till last. What do raccoons look like? They've got the banded eyes, right, and little ears. I don't know what kind of ears they have. Little teeth.
I mean, yeah.
Who knows what they look like? Little claws? Do they have little claws? And then they've got.
I believe they do. They have like dite fingers. Okay, you know,
little fingers with little claws. Yeah, a friend of mine, a pen collector, actually the guy that makes Noodler's ink, for those people that know pens will know him. He would torment the little raccoons outside his house by putting sugar cubes out for them. And then the little raccoon would grab the sugar cube, bring it over to the water basin to wash it, because they have to wash the food before they eat it. And of course, then the sugar cube dissolved. And then he'd do it over and over and over again. And he'd be so happy because he was having so much fun on these poor little raccoons. So anyway, these raccoons, and what are they called again?
Tanuki.
Tanuki?
Yep.
Tanuki. These are a class of raccoons in Japan. And they're quite famous, not necessarily for washing their food, but for having other attributes. Now, these attributes, other than being a burden to them, I imagine, what did they help them sire broods of thousands, or what?
Okay, should we specify this attribute, or are we going
to?
Well,
I think I'm going to draw them right now.
Okay.
So they have. You have to look at my drawing, Patrick.
Ah, yes, that's about accurate.
They have, and I'm not exaggerating this. They have. They have testicles that are as big as they are, if not bigger than they are. They're at least 80% of their body weight is in their testicles. Now, so why do they have testicles like this, Patrick? Since you know about them, I only heard about them today.
So the thing about tanukis is, do you know anything about the Japanese foxes?
I know nothing about anything. So
right. There's this whole tradition basically in Japanese mythology about, well, they have many animals which are animals, but they're also they're like the trickster characters. So the foxes have multiple tails. If the fox has multiple tails, it means it's a magical fox, and it's really smart. A fox with 9 tails, for example, and it's going to live forever. It's immortal, and it knows everything, and it hates you. But tanukis are raccoons that have multiple tails.
Okay.
And they are tricksters, but in a different way. They're actually merchants. Like they sell things to people. Okay. So this being the case, they have huge testicles.
Well, I know that they do, but what does that help them sell things?
In the huge testicles, well, what else would they look like if you were to change their image? They would look a lot like big money bags, like from the bank.
Well, you know, my limited knowledge of this showed when I went on Wikipedia to see if this was real. It did show that they are often depicted with their balls thrown over their shoulders as they're walking along.
It's supposed to be like a merchant sack.
I guess so. So they're over their shoulders. I'm drawing a different version. He has his tail, his little striped tail, before it's turned into a coonskin cap by whatever his name is. And his balls are thrown over the back like that. Okay. So even though, so he's a merchant and he's selling goods. Is he, are the goods like fly by night things, or are the goods that he sells actually good, or are they bad? Are they bad goods?
I'm not an expert on this, but it can sort of vary. Like I said, they're sort of like these trickster characters from what I understand. So they can be very good people and they can port good luck, but they can also be complete bastards.
I see.
So trying to think. For
So
example, there was
so far, let's just pretend. You know, I might be all of those things that you mentioned, except my balls aren't very big. You know, so why do these balls have to be so big? Because they look like they have, they look like they're full of stuff or money? I mean,
yeah, I
if
mean,
it was money,
they're
it would be
also like big testicles are also in Japanese culture supposed to support good luck. I wish I could tell you like some kind of anthropological explanation or go
I see.
way into Japanese history, but unfortunately, my knowledge is
Is
a
only
pretty
only
level.
okay. You just know the important bit about the big balls.
I know the important bit that the balls are really important because balls make you rich is
Right?
basically the idea.
Okay. Okay. Well, I did see maybe a half a dozen of these things depicted in the Japanese woodcut style, and um, I must say the depiction of them was quite interesting because they they looked they didn't look as how can I put this spheroid as I would have thought they'd look. They looked like they were filled with all sorts of bumpy things because they weren't very smooth and spherical. They were very.
There,
Okay.
like, are you talking about the testicles?
I'm talking about the testicles. We haven't
Yeah,
changed the subject. We're still talking
that.
about
I
the
mean,
testicles.
that's actually something that I've noticed. You know, looking at the way that the Japanese drew testicles, right?
Okay.
Like I've looked at Hokusai's drawings of testicles, and they really go all in on them wrinkles, man.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Like they love that detail for some reason.
I see.
It's sort of like I think it's just an aesthetic thing. I think it's sort of like how Leonardo would always paint the second toe bit longer than the big toe. That kind of thing.
I see. Okay. Well, I can't remember what raccoon ears look like, so I'm drawing them differently. But they have the bandit eyes. I'm drawing
Mm-hmm.
this one in two different colors on gray paper with white and. Well, anyway, it just was interesting, and here I thought I was going to show you something new, and you knew all about it. And
Well, yeah, I'm familiar with Japanese cartoons, and so you were asking actually earlier about the fact that these guys show up in children's media.
it seems like it implied that they were often seen in children's stories to sort of be an object lesson about something. I don't know what, because I didn't.
Now,
My mother never read me that book. So
yeah, I can't speak to like them being lessons in and of themselves, but I can say that they are actually very common in children's media.
okay,
In fact, if the Studio Ghibli films like My Neighbor Totoro, perhaps.
I don't know that. No.
Okay,
See,
so
I know little. I know little.
yeah, you're not of the generation that was introduced to Japanese pop culture like mine was.
Okay.
So,
No.
um, but the guy who did that, he's considered they actually call him the Walt Disney of Japan.
Okay.
Although that's arguable. Anyway, he actually did an entire film based on tanukis, and he did not censor out the testicles.
Well, I would think that you couldn't. I mean, it
Well,
would
you
be
you can. So, for
what
example,
have the raccoon hiding always behind a hedge or a 20-story building or what? I don't understand.
well, yeah, but that's assuming that you're going to even like draw them with and with the implication that they have the testicles. Even there's media where the testicles don't show up at all.
It's like a Ken doll in Barbie and Ken.
Yeah, it could be like a Ken doll.
Okay, good.
But he did not censor the testicles.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we're getting to the bottom of this.
And of course you do know Mario, though, right?
I know of Mario, yes. I don't think I.
And he's a Japanese product. So, if you've ever seen, like, for example, the raccoon Mario, there's a Mario wherein one of the power-ups is a suit that makes Mario look like a raccoon and it lets him fly.
I see.
He has a raccoon. Yeah, that's the Tanuki Mario.
I see.
He's called Tanuki.
His testicles are still.
His testicles are still unfortunately normal size.
They don't have to they don't have to pay for an extra seat when he's flying.
No.
He just no.
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
But,
well, I'm looking forward to seeing your drawing. So are those the testicles there that you're drawing right now?
Yeah, I guess I did not do as good a job on the testicles as you did. I'm so disappointed.
Well, you're making him look like big fuzzy slippers on his shoes, on his feet.
Yeah, I know.
He's wearing big bunny slippers.
Yeah, I might have to give up the raccoon bit. I might have to change.
No. Don't you dare change that.
Fine.
Well, I thought it was nice.
Okay. Can you still see it?
I can still see it. It's still there.
Okay.
So I made a new one. I don't know if you can see. This is the one with the over the back.
Ah, yes.
Have we exhausted this topic? We can keep drawing him, but we can talk about something else.
Yeah, I'm not certain what else there is to say other than, it takes balls to deal with tanukis.
Well, I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna have mine be in the circus, and he's dancing on the top of his things. So he's sort of doing a song and dance routine. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello, my ragtime gal. I love that.
But rather than the frog, he's a raccoon.
A raccoon with enormous testicles
that he's able to walk on, and they roll slightly. He has to. I mean, it's a complicated act because he has to remember. He has to, go in a circle, and then he has to go back. Because if he kept going in a circle, they'd get all twisted, right?
Yeah.
So I'll draw them sort of in mid-twist here. Like a rubber band you're winding up too much. So he can only sort of go in one direction, clockwise, let's say, for a little bit. And then he has to go counterclockwise as he's singing his Hello, My Baby, Ragtime Gal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a top hat on mine.
Man, I do not know how these tanukis, like, they show them sitting on their testicles. They show them slinging their testicles over their backs. I don't know how they're not in constant pain.
I would think that it would be a problem.
I would think so too, but apparently it's not.
because it's not. Oh.
It just doesn't matter to them. They're good.
They're good. Okay, well, I'm going to try to draw mine with the sort of lumps and stuff that the Japanese put in their renditions. It would be
is way too much on it being a raccoon and not enough with testicles.
I like the hat that you have on him, though. It's really...
Yeah. See, I put the ears above, but they could have also been like that. But that doesn't look quite as good, does it?
Yeah, I guess they always, those animals that wear clothes are always dealing with something, you know, like
Like they always have internal.
Yogi Bear has a collar and a tie and a hat, but he doesn't have any other clothes. It's just a detachable collar. And Boo Boo, I don't know what is Boo Boo naked or what?
I think he has like a bow tie on him.
Oh, he does have a bow tie. That's right. But why can't Mr. Ranger, sir? Why couldn't he have been naked?
I mean,
I'm just
I
wondering.
think he'd take advantage of it because he's never talking to anybody but bears, as far as I know. I mean, I think he had a manager, but that was about it.
There was never any actual park visitor with their picnic basket?
I don't know. I never watched Yogi Bear.
I see.
I wasn't of that particular generation.
I see.
That would have been my mom or my dad, I suppose.
Or your grandfather. Just rub it in. Rub it in, Patrick. It would be your grandfather's generation.
So my grandfather was the generation that grew up on Westerns and anti-communism.
Yeah, that sounds like my generation. Well, I like my first drawing better than this one. This one is sort of hard to tell that these are actually testicles, but so does this one. I've done 3 so far. You're only on 1.
Yeah, I got way too focused on this one trying to fix it.
I did 4 of them, actually.
You're a lot quicker on the draw than I am.
Well,
pun absolutely intended.
Of course it's intended. Anyway, it's just, I mean, this topic of tanuki, which we have not yet exhausted. We've only barely scratched the surface.
Oh, I mean, if you think about testicles in the light of that phrase.
I know, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase that. We've barely touched this. No, we've only just begun our conversation about testicles, but
we have not yet reached the bottom of the sack.
We have not reached the bottom of the sack. Okay, good.
The ball keeps on rolling.
Both of them keep rolling. So anyway,
I did a decent job on the penis. You can't really tell, or at least I don't know if you can tell, but the balls just aren't there. I'm gonna do a different.
Well, you'll have to send that to me for me to imagine, or to see more carefully. The idea, though, that here I'm 63 and 9/10. My birthday's at the end of this month, and I could have lived. I conceivably could have lived my entire life without ever knowing what a tanuki was until today. And when someone told me what it was and sent me a link, and this guy was saying if he had a boyfriend that was so designed, he would never leave the house 24/7. And I just thought, well, that's interesting. Anyway.
See, the part that you're not, I mean, I guess you're allowed to mess with them. I don't have much experience in that department.
Yeah. Well, it's just fascinating anyway. So, but I could have lived my entire life without knowing what this creature was. And I don't know if my life any better. Better for knowing.
Essential.
I have to draw.
Your life will.
You're okay. You're breaking up on me there, but
sorry there.
Anyway, it's just interesting that there are so many things out there that one can learn about that one doesn't learn about when one is just looking at Fox TV, for example, or listening to Rush Limbaugh. Would Rush Limbaugh ever talk about tanuki? No. Would Fox
No,
News ever?
he's too scared. He doesn't address the big issues.
No, he just talks about stupid things. Anyway, I've turned the page over. What are you drawing now? Are you drawing another tanuki?
Yeah, I'm drawing another tanuki now.
Okay. Well, we've been talking for 25 minutes, so I think we can let's do 5 more minutes of this.
Okay.
And then I don't want our audience to get bored, with this. So
I'm entertained as hell, man.
okay, well we can continue to talk after we stop.
No. I mean, 5 more minutes is reasonable, especially because like I've had to upload 2-minute videos to YouTube before, and it took forever from my internet.
Oh well, my internet works better now. See this one. I'm taking my cue on your image here that you started with when I said look like snowshoes. So I'm making my tanugis, my balls, be sort of underneath each of his feet, and I'll strap them. I'll just tie them down. So as he moves his legs, these things stay underneath him. So he could maybe conceivably walk across water, you think? If they were
I would say so.
If
his feet are, well, his feet would have to be big if his balls were big, right?
No, well, they're tied. No, they don't have to be. If they're tied correctly.
Oh, okay.
I think that they could be like sort of snowshoes for the water, so he could just walk across the water.
Or at the very least, they would float, right?
I would think that. Well, mine do. Kind of, I suppose.
That's interesting information.
Huh?
That's interesting information.
Well, I mean, don't they?
See, I haven't checked mine because I normally take a shower rather than a bath.
Well, you take a bath next time and see if they fly. I'm still putting a top hat on this guy. He's going out on the town. This one here. So he's looking.
Why wouldn't you?
But he's on his way. Oh, they do have sort of a nose, don't they? That comes out. I forgot. I'm making him like a cat. So here he has his walking stick in his hand, even though he can't use that now because he's on the water. And he's bringing with him a little gift, a little bottle of booze, because he's a bottle of wine to the party. So he's doing that. And meanwhile, here's his penis. I do have my videos are not for children.
So. You specify that.
Even though Japanese children could watch this and understand it completely, the American children
they not be offended like these bastard American children are.
These American children who can't possibly know. Did you hear that some evangelical person is saying that the new anti-lynching law should not include gay people from being protected by it? Evidently, it's okay to lynch gay people.
Yeah, it's definitely okay, because if it's not okay to lynch any other type of person, it's okay to lynch another type of human being as long as they enjoy balls just a little bit more
than your wife, than your sainted wife does.
Yeah.
So that's just, it's just, I can't wait. if the meteorite hits tomorrow and we're all dead, it's thousands of years too late. So
Yeah.
it should have happened. The one that put the dinosaurs out of business should have just waited till yesterday.
I mean, we're dealing with the era that brought me into existence, so I'd say we've worn out like everything.
Okay, yeah, you just proved that
I just proved that the universe is completely out of whack at this point.
Yeah, because of your birth. Okay, I'm using this big American Old Faithful crayon, soft black, and it's about the size of your leg. It's this huge hexagonal. It's like a lumber crayon.
That checks out.
Patrick, for those of you that do not know him, he's very, very thin, and it looks good. Thin looks good on you.
That's good to know.
Well, I mean, it does look good on you.
That's the way I am.
It's just that, you're can I say the word short? You're not very tall, and
no, not at all.
And there's one guy that I met on Instagram who was very offended when I said that he was very leprechaun-like, pixie-like or something, and he was very unhappy when I said he was leprechaun-like. But I think you would make a good leprechaun, Patrick. Your name,
yeah,
your name sort of suggests leprechaun-ness. And
I mean, it's the classic Irish name, right?
And you have that stature that many people that
believe in leprechauns,
people that believe in leprechauns, the wee ones, they would recognize you. They would never mistake me for a leprechaun.
But they would recognize me for what I really am.
Well, I don't know. I think you surprise people. If I just saw you on the street, I would not give you the attributes that I know that you have.
I mean, that's a natural assumption when you see somebody on the street to not believe that they're a leprechaun. If you see somebody on the street and you think that's definitely a leprechaun,
yeah,
you might have to reassess your judgment.
Or get your eyeglasses adjusted, if nothing else.
That might help.
Well, I see that you've made your tanuki is happy to see me. He has a little erection. Yes. It looks like.
I've tried to do better.
And is he wearing it? Is the stick he's carrying also equally phallic?
It's hard to tell, but it's actually a bone. I started drawing a regular old walking stick, but then it turned out like a bone, and I thought, well, that's very fitting.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
I would say though that it is terribly phallic.
Okay, well, then we'll leave it at that. Okay, let's see what other. So he's howling at the moon, is he?
Something like that. Well, he's really excited.
It looks like I see his nose. Oh, I see his. Okay, we're looking at his underside of his chin. Looks like.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to tell. I don't know how to draw raccoons, so I'm just sort of stylizing.
Well, I have the same problem with mine. So what's his other hand doing?
It's just out there.
I see. You know, that's what's interesting. You know, the drawings that you did or that you have done and posted on Instagram that show these creatures that are mythological or Bruegel or Boschian are, you know, where you've got a mouth inside of a belly, you know, typical medieval stuff. You know how many knuckles are in, you know, a hand, even if the hand is you have the anatomical correctness of knowing how vertebrates work, that even, you know, you could draw based on a description by someone that only vaguely saw something in the distance. You probably could come up with something that's very accurate to maybe not looking like the elephant or the rhinoceros that Dürer did, but you would have the correct number of bones in the wrist. You know, you, even if you don't know it, you would draw them there. Don't you think?
I don't know whether I would have the correct number, but it might look like the correct number.
I mean, you would draw a wrist bone. I mean, when normally, if I have to draw a hand on a body, you know, I have this sort of cylindrical arm, and then there's this sort of flat thing, and then there's these little fingers and a thumb. You know, I never think of putting the wrist bone in. And there's two of them. There's one on each end. But you would make sure that that wrist bone, whether it's on a raccoon or a horse, you would have it there somehow. It may not be in exactly the right place, but you would do it.
Yeah, I would think about the wrist.
Yeah. I mean, it's just watching again I mean, I can see, even though I don't know what the bones are of a raccoon, I see that you have your raccoon has bones. Mine actually should have strings. Mine doesn't have any bones. It's a marionette. So I'm adding the strings here. I mean, it's like your puppets. You know,
it's sort of a difference in drawing style, I guess.
Well, I mean, I should learn how to draw things anatomically correct. I'm 63 and 9/10 old. I should spend a couple of months learning how they work. But you know, I draw things. I kind of can draw anything I look at, but if I turn away and try to redraw it, I can't. I have to look at the thing to draw it. Whether it's, and I think I'm a pretty good draftsman. I mean, drawer. I can draw a building or a boat or a car without having to know how an axle works and things like that. But it does help, of course, when you know how bones
when you
and
can
axles
see
work.
it in front of you.
Also if you've studied it and know that, you know, this tire is parallel to that tire, and that, you know, it's this bone is connected to that bone, you know how to do that.
I mean, that's all that's happening. It's just a matter of like, oh, I've drawn so many nude human bodies that it's embedded in my memory.
Well, I've drawn many human nude bodies too, but I don't, when I'm done with the drawing, I forget about everything that I just may have learned, may have noticed. And again, you know, like every time I draw a thumb on a human hand, I think, why is it way down there? You know, I never learn. You know, I never learn how anatomy works. So anyway, it's quite fun. So Patrick,
Yes.
is what kind of pencil are you using?
Oh, I am using a
Prismacolor. Okay, good.
It's it's terracotta. So
of course it is. Well, your love Prismacolor, but one of the things I guess that I like about it and hate about it at the same time, you can't erase. You put down a Prismacolor line and it's there forever. And but what I don't like about it is when I try to do white Prismacolor on top of black, or vice versa on a gray piece of paper, it does not sit on, it doesn't cover the color underneath. It resists the color that you put down first. So you have to be doubly good. Well, Patrick, I think the 2 drawings you did are lovely, and you're going to continue to work on that one, I bet. I think I don't ever need to draw another tanuki for the rest of my life, but I may change my mind. I might just decide that's what I'm going to do. Per Gustafson, the Tanuki Master. I like your guy howling at the moon there.
I really enjoy like the guy you have right now.
This one?
His eyes and his piano teeth too.
Yes. It does. Yeah. I wonder what key. D D D D D D D D D. And his eyelashes. Well, anyway, Patrick, this was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that we can do this again sometime and try to get your pals willing to maybe do this too.
Yeah.
And I need to get some water in me. Has it been hot and nasty where you live, or what?
It has been. Right now, it's just started to rain. Okay. I don't know if you hear it.
Well, anyway, we'll say goodbye to Tanuki Land, and I will look forward to talking to you again. I'll upload this, and we'll just see what happens. Per Gustafson, you have been removed from YouTube for terms of service. I'll just entitle it Japanese Fairy Tale, and we'll just let that happen. So I'm going to turn the camera around to say goodbye, and I will see you later. So thank you, Patrick.
All right. Hasta luego.
I haven't read one more page or even one more word in Don Quixote yet, but that's on my list of things.
Chapter 3, I'm still copying the rest.
Okay, well, I'll try to catch up. Be good. Bye-bye.
See you.